Hey everybody, it's Cam with Hope to Canine Foundation, having a little technical difficulty today, so that's why the look on my face is a little suspicious. Really looking forward to chatting with you, but briefly today, I only have a half an hour for this broadcast, so I'm gonna roll through these things pretty quickly. We had some technical issues last week where I went through the entire broadcast and then the recording didn't save, it just obliterated, so it went away, and the answers to the questions of last week I will recap on this week. But I really just wanted to first start out by saying my birthday is on Monday, and whether you just because love me or we have brought you value by sharing these Fix It Friday broadcasts or other tutorials, by posting the work that we do, which by the way is not easy. Because plenty of people have stupid opinions that don't know us, haven't seen us work, haven't hired us, and come around judging and questioning and trolling. And when you see somebody online, anybody, hi guys, when you see somebody online sharing content that you value, that makes you feel encouraged or empowered or inspired or validated or just accountable, it kicks your ass, right? To eat better today or work out or take your dog out or keep trying, whatever the fucking shit it is. If you see them doing that, guys, it is something to acknowledge and share gratitude about, because it's risky. And the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is, it's vulnerable when you open yourself up to somebody that you care about, to tell them how they affect you or to invite them to be a support and an accountability partner in your world. That vulnerability is the same online. It's just that you don't get the same immediate, necessarily. In some cases we do, but you don't generally get the same immediate feedback. And it's even worse because you're opening yourself up to the World Wide Web. So it's not just a person you love and know and care about who understands your character and your intentions, right? So if we've ever brought you value here on the Hope to Canine page, it's really important to me today, for my birthday and as a thank you, that you help me out in raising some funds for my colleague Angelina. Now, what I'm going to do, because the way that Facebook Live works, I couldn't put the link in the description. So I'm going to grab this real quick and I'm going to drop it in the comments for you. And I would be so grateful if you would throw a few dollars towards this fund. Angelina had a water, I think it was a water heater, some sort of item in her home where she lives, which is also her storefront, her business front for her dog training and rehabilitation center. It blew up and the whole place went up in flames. Something like 8 of her dogs dead, 10 cats, a litter of kittens. She's a Bengal breeder, so she had, these stunning animals, which I learned a lot about in this last year from her. People with cat allergies, apparently you can have Bengals. Needless to say, not only is she a single mom who I've witnessed multiple times get her life, rug ripped out from under her, and she always rises again. She always gives back to the community. She always finds a way to reinvent herself in a manner that is honorable and, self-respecting, and has an incredible impact on the rescue community, dog owner community. Her son has hemophilia. She's already been through too much, guys. So to lose everything, stuff is replaceable. Those animals, not only are they her pets and her emotional comfort and what she's more passionate about than anything, besides her kids, but they are her staff. They are her teammates. They are her colleagues and coworkers in rehabilitation. When we do this work in this industry, guys, our personal animals are such an asset, and it takes years to create that. It takes years to build a pack like she had. It takes so much time and energy and investment to build that pack up and have those dogs serving the community and the clients the way that they do. And I'm just heartbroken for her. I'm just sick about it. So I would love if you would support her today with me in thanks for anything that we've done here that might be of value to you. Please go drop a few dollars, whatever you can spare, towards this fund for her. And I'm working on getting this stupid thing to refresh. And then I'll dive into the questions because I only have a short time today. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna do comment, boom. Okay, it's in there for you. Please, please, please go show Angelina some love, all right? This is so important that she experience the same kind of love and support and nurturing and comfort on the human end of the leash that she is absolutely dying for in those animals that she lost. And I was up until 2:30. I just can't fathom going through this. So that's what our mission is today, okay, guys? Let me get back to your questions. We just have a short time today, and I need to recap for Julie. She had asked me a bunch of questions last week about feeding. Unfortunately, April didn't include them for me here. So let me go back. April, find that other email. And they had to do with quantity of food and then some differentials on choosing a kibble. And here's the funny thing about this is like, I'm not going to be able to recommend kibble, guys. So Julie, you had said the first 3 ingredients should be pure protein, not protein meal. That's correct. And if you're lost, guys, and you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to 2 weeks ago, Fix It Friday, and I did a huge broadcast on reading the nutrition label on kibble, okay? So that's something you can go find. She says, I have not been able to find any non-grain-free kibble with the first 3 ingredients, all protein, but not meal. Welcome to kibble. The grain-free kibbles almost all have at least the first 3 all pure protein because Dobermans are prone to dilated cardiomyopathy with DCM. I have avoided grain-free kibble. Guys, where I'm going to get into that conversation because it's a complete mixed bag of data out there about DCM being caused by grain-free or not being caused by grain-free. I don't know. I'm not a vet. I didn't do all the work and research. I don't know the conversation and argument backwards, frontwards. However, she said, I think is there a way to determine which companies use clean meal? Because if you watch back on that prior broadcast, we talked about what meal actually is, not meat necessarily. And she said, I think there is such a thing, but it may not be possible to determine for sure. Otherwise, is the only acceptable kibble grain-free? So I'm going to Julie, I don't recommend kibble. I can't recommend kibble. I don't have I don't have a judgment for if you need to feed kibble, because sometimes you do. I feed one of my dogs a mix of kibble sometimes, mostly raw, also dehydrated and fresh food. So cooked meat, eggs, turkey, beef, salmon, could be any number of things, including veggies and fruit. She eats anything, which is wonderful because it means that I have incredible flexibility with her. Her primary diet is raw. It's Wild Instincts Raw Food, which is a local company. It's organic. I love it. Her stool is always better when she's on raw. She's more passionate about the raw food. She eats less of it. She doesn't need as much of it. And I feel better about my dog's overall health and well-being and development with the fact that she's getting that raw food. I'm able to buy her a formulated diet. So I'm not guessing at whether or not there are certain fresh ingredients in there or enough calcium to bone ratio and these types of things. I feel really good about it. It's simple. It comes in a 2-pound log. I just take out what's appropriate for her. I feed it at room temperature. With kibble feeding, though, you're always sacrificing something. You're doing the best you can, okay? So no, I can't recommend a kibble that meets all of these requirements. This is the issue of why you have to understand how to read the label and recognize the corners that are being cut when you do have kibble as the main diet that you feed, let alone the exclusive food that you feed. So please bear in mind, kibble might be something that you need to do. In some cases, it's what the dog responds best to because it's so highly processed. For some dogs, it's easier to digest, okay? That doesn't mean it's healthful for them long term. So do the best you can. Grain-free or grain products, that's up to you. You're gonna have to make that decision based on your dog's weight, their skin condition, any particular type of sensitivities or allergies that they might have. And I would just encourage you to look at it as a dog, naturally the way that their system works, they're not needing a lot of carbohydrates. They're not needing and seeking naturally to have lentils or, oats or corn. Like, these are things that we talked about in that prior video. And they really should be something that if you want to add it in, you can add it into a fresh food diet, right? If you need to add it in, you can add it into a fresh food diet. But as far as the kibble is concerned, I'm not going to be able to recommend something because everywhere you look, there's a compromise. Something is missing, something is overabundant, there is an imbalance or a deficiency or all of the above. And that's why we say supplement, okay? If you're going to get kibble, whatever grain-free or grain-inclusive, supplement it and get that immune system boosted up with probiotics, fresh food, veggies, etc. She then asked me, if you decide to cook fresh for your dog to supplement, how do you know how much to feed them? Your 3-bowl example, I posted a picture a couple weeks ago. All 3 bowls were the same size, but those 3 dogs are very different sizes. Frenchie puppy, Glenavimall pup, and a boxer dog. How do you figure out the right amount for each dog? This is my favorite thing to answer the other day because I had taken all the dogs outside to show you them physically and how I determine weight appropriateness based on looking at my dog. So when you go to look at breed standards, like she's had Dobermans forever and ever. When you go to look at Doberman breed standards, it's going to say they're roughly this size and this average weight for a male and this average weight for a female. The problem is it doesn't take into consideration your specific dog's metabolism, their activity level, hormone balance, absorption condition, right? A lot of these dogs that we're finding nowadays, especially if they're secondhand dogs where the breeding is not great, the genetics are not great, their overall health is not awesome, or maybe they were a stray, they didn't get good nutrition from the beginning. A lot of these dogs have malabsorption issues, and you can test for that. So the better thing to do than to say on the bag of dog food, it tells me to feed 2 cups, right? The better thing to do is to just look at your dog. Your dog in almost every breed should have a slight indentation at the waist, and you should be able to put your hands against the rib cage, and gently pressing allows you to feel the ribs. You shouldn't have to go digging for those ribs, okay? If you're having to really push in and manipulate to feel your dog's ribs, they're fat. They need to lose a little bit of weight. If you don't see that little indentation at the waist, if your dog is built like a tabletop, it's like one of those old sheepskin covered footstools that you would get at the mall, then you need to put your dog on a diet. You need to start paring down how much kibble you're feeding or overall food that you're feeding. And anytime you add fresh foods, you want to remove some kibble to compensate for the calories they're getting from the fresh food. Hopefully that makes sense. I always look at my dog, Laszlo in particular, my boxer, who's 2.5. I look at him and I go, you look fat or skinny today? And I scoop out the food and heat it up in the bowl. I don't ever measure it. It is not something that I have a cup or a scooper or exactly the same. I totally eyeball it. And his metabolism is going to be very different than the dwarf breed terrier that I have that's 5 months old. Right? She's growing, she's consuming a lot more potentially than what, she will when she's an adult because she's a puppy right now. So that's why her bowl looks identical to the adult dog. A lot of puppies need roughly double the adult serving quantity that they'll require for maintenance. So that's not uncommon either. With the Frenchie puppy, it totally depends, again, on the activity level, their metabolism, the type of food you're feeding. If your kibble is low carb, high protein, you can get away with more food because you're not giving all that filler, okay? The other thing is when you look at those bowls, sometimes I feed my dog more in the morning and less at night. That's kind of a common scenario. So you can do that. You can absolutely tailor and get away with that more or less in one meal versus the other. Some people only feed once a day. I don't think you need to feed more than twice a day. I don't do that even with my puppies. Once they're 8-9 weeks, we're done with that. We go on to 2 times a day, and I have particular reasons for that because I want to be able to manage the potty training efficiently. And the only reason I would do 3 feedings is a dog that is truly malnourished, right? A puppy that maybe comes in through the rescue and it's in crisis, of course, you're going to have to adjust. But, when I determine those quantities, it's based on looking at my dog. Are we maintaining the right weight, or did we tip up a little bit in one direction or we come down? With a short-coated dog, it's a piece of cake to do it. Some of your long-coated dogs may be a little bit harder to assess. This is why you need to feel. You need to feel your dog under there. Make sure that you don't have to work hard to feel the ribs, that you can just hold on that side of the rib cage and gently press a little bit, and there they are. And that there's that little indent at the waist, okay? So, Julie, I hope this answers your question as far as what you were inquiring on last week. And I'm sorry that we had those technical issues and that it wasn't there for you when you came to watch the replay. Let me get back to Z's question as well, and I'll answer that one here as quickly as I can. You guys doing okay? If you jumped in late, please check my comment with the fundraiser link, the GoFundMe link for Angelina. I am just, I'm heartsick for her. And if we bring you value from these broadcasts, if we ever have helped you, you would be showing me a hell of a lot of birthday love. My birthday's on Monday. By giving to Angelina's Fund and helping the single mom out who just lost everything, including like 7 or 8 of her dogs and a bunch of cats and her business front and possibly her car because of a blow up of a water fixture. And it's just awful. It's just awful. So let's see here. Z had asked, how can I reduce Bruce's stress when practicing place? Bruce got sent to a 5-week board and train. I got back the exact same dog. Sam, partner, also got a trained dog from that facility. Sally has recently passed and with another dog also needing training. I wanted to start back at basics. Bruce acts like it's the end of the world being placed. All right, so Z is writing to us from Oz. Thank you for this question, but it's out of the country. My God, what the hell with this facility is, for starters, my answer for you. 5 weeks of board and train and you got the same dog back? What have you done about that to confront them? That's not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. I'm confused about the second part of your question regarding the other dog that was trained and recently passed. Are you saying that this was your second time utilizing them, but you still have one more dog that needs training and you're trying to go back to basics with not just Bruce, but also that dog? You said Bruce acts like it's the end of the world being placed. I need more information about that, Z. What does that mean? Is he tantruming or is he terrified? For those of you that don't know what place is, it's literally just teaching a downstay. So there's no reason that we should have a dog that's terrified or traumatized about a downstay. However, if we have a dog that's very anxious and insecure at the core, very entitled, resistant, hasn't had any boundaries for a long period of time, and then suddenly we start to tell it, hey, you need to stay put here and not act on your impulses, you might see a significant amount of stress demonstration. The dog may shake, the dog may pant and drool. It's not uncommon in the behavior modification, the rehab type of scenarios that we get. I use that term loosely. I've written about this actually as well on the blog, but I use that term loosely because rehabilitation to me is saying we want to get that dog back to its original state. But that wasn't always a great state. That wasn't always a great condition to begin with. So I think it's something we have to be careful about how we label. With that said, a 5-week board and train program where you send your dog away for 5 weeks should not, in any country, I don't care where you are, result in getting the same dog back. That is a ripoff. You got taken and you need to report that business potentially. Certainly you need to go back to them and hold up your end of the bargain as far as putting the work in and sharing communication and advocating for your dog. If you can't do it with that business owner, that trainer, then you're going to struggle to do it in all these other little areas that matter a whole hell of a lot with your dog. So as far as place command is concerned, it's very likely that regardless of whether the dog is terrified or traumatized or just tantruming, you got to get through it. You got to get through it. You got to just keep going and get to the other side and show your dog that he doesn't die. Staying put and holding place and remaining on that downstay, he may just need to be able to have a longer period of time duration, place duration, we call it, before he's fully starting to surrender, relax, and accept the situation. And then ultimately the dog realizes, this is not so bad. This actually feels really good. It is the same concept as a meditation. And if you can't do meditation for 10 minutes, you probably need to do it for an hour, okay? Disappearing after any communication. Report them to your version of a Better Business Bureau. And I'm glad you're on the live. Welcome. Z, what do you have over there in Australia for Better Business Bureau type of a thing? Because that's unacceptable. You should never, ever have invested for a service like this only to get the same dog on the other side, unless there was communication from them along the way saying your dog's essentially cognitively compromised, or there's a health issue, or there's a limitation of what we can't do. We need to do other things before this is going to work. With the place practice, you've not allowed him free until he's calm. Excellent. The longer you do it, the better he will get, truly. I was talking about meditation, you guys, but like massage. Massage is one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. It is one of the most restorative things that I can go do for myself. And when I lay down on that massage table, my brain is very busy, probably for at least 30 minutes, if not closer to an hour. So I always go for 90. I always get a 90-minute massage. A 60, it's not going to do it. And I know that sounds really indulgent, but truly, if your dog is similar in that brain is just on hyperdrive and they're so accustomed to responding to their excitement, their reactivity, their insecurity, their flight mode, whatever it is, they need more time to roll through all of the mental noise and to have you give them those consequences of correction and return if they do experiment with breaking before they're able to just chill, surrender. So when we finish a board and train, we teach our owners to keep place for duration as part of their lifestyle and to work it into their everyday. Like the whole time I'm talking to you, I could have a dog on place. If I'm pet owner, I could have a dog on place and back tie it. You might need to do this if you don't have a back tie. A back tie is just an eye hook that you put in the wall. Put it in a stud so the dog doesn't rip it out. You can put it somewhere inconspicuous down low in the trim or whatever. Or you can loop the leash around a heavy table leg. If you have, my old studio used to have a big pole in the middle of the room. We could just loop a dog around there. Whatever it is that you need to do, back tie or secure that dog on place so that if they do get up and try to walk off, they only get so far before they feel that natural correction on the collar, whatever they're wearing, and they need to return, right? They can't get far from the spot. Put a 4 or 6 foot leash. So we could have a dog on place right now, just chilling out, wants to get up, wants to do other things, wants to go over to the toy box. Maybe it hears the doorbell or something and it wants to respond and get up. But the answer is no. You need to let life happen around you. You need to let the world go on. It's not your business or your problem right now. And the longer the dog is there, the more likely they will increase their ability and comfort level to just go to sleep and chill out when they're in a new environment with even higher levels of distraction. So you said the company was recommended to you by friends. Your dog is the same dog. The dog you purchased was a failed Navy dog. We found this after. Unfortunately, because of shoddy contracts, we have no leg to stand on. I'm just needing to start all myself until I trust a trainer again. I'm sorry, Z, but I don't accept that. I don't accept that. I do not buy that. And I know you. So I'm pushing back on you on this because I know you. And I know that we attract, like attracts like. So there is something going on here, to be honest, where you are the common denominator. And I do not say that from a shame or blame standpoint at all. I say it because it needs to be said. It needs to be heard. And it's something that I deal with every single day when I interact with clients. It's why we're so good at what we do. It's why we get the results that we get and not create situations like what you experienced, because we call bullshit on that. You chose this person. You invested with this company. Somewhere your picker is off because of what it is that you believe about yourself or what you're afraid to say, and you're doing the same thing now. So it's not about, reframe that shit, it's not about until I trust a trainer again. That trust is within yourself. And it's the fact that you made a bad investment, you made a bad decision, and you don't trust yourself. I'm allowing people to use me, she says, as a doormat, and my dogs do the same. Fucking bingo, woman. I'm so proud of you for being willing to articulate that and able to acknowledge it, because yeah, you and a whole lot of other people, honey, you and a whole lot of other people are going through that. And it's not until you own that shit and you stand up for yourself and you have healthy language about it that you will see the appropriate resources come in to help you out in creating the change that you want, or that you see the change of the dog respecting and trusting you the way that you want, okay? So this is really important, because you should know better than to come on up on Cam Show and give me some kind of nonsense about getting taken and shoddy contracts, all right? This is super important, super important. Hey, Debbie, I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, it is really, really critical that you guys like ditch the shame and blame and just fucking own it. Just own it. It's not easy to do. I find myself almost every day, let alone weekly, monthly, in various corners of my world, having to have the same conversation with myself or get it from outside of myself. Because human nature and the way that we're wired and our patterning combined together lends us to wanting to be reactive and defensive in certain situations where we're insecure. Or, you know, we're just not conscious. We're just not woke to what it is that we're doing. But I know for a fact, it's like, you know, I just know for sure that we're magnetic. We are magnetic. We are attracting our likeness. Everywhere we go, if we haven't done the work to clean up that crap within ourselves, we're going to draw people who also mirror that for us. And that put us in situations, we put ourselves in situations with them that force us to get closer to taking that ownership and acknowledging those things and being conscious and aware of it, okay? So you don't have to be scared. You just, you know, you're actually quite courageous that you put yourself in the line of fire to have that feedback and accountability with me. And that is commendable. That is commendable. But this is not about reducing Bruce's stress. This is the comment you sent me. How do I reduce Bruce's stress when practicing place? It's not about reducing his stress, it's about reducing your stress. What are you doing to deal with your stress? What are you doing to deal with your anxiety, your defensiveness, your insecurity, your rush decision making, your lack of listening to intuition and taking your time to make a good decision about a reputable investment? Do you see what I mean? What are you doing to manage your stress? It's not about the dog. When you get that straightened out, you're going to feel a hell of a lot more empowered to hold the line for your dog and allow him to fail and struggle and move through till he succeeds, at understanding that life demands he be able to have that off switch sometimes, whether he likes it or not. You know what I mean? So it really is a question of where are your daily practices at, and what needs to come back into your world or be started for the first time to take care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health, in order for you not to have a question of how do I reduce my dog's stress, because you already know how to train this. Girl, you've been around for years with me. You know how to train this. It's about dealing with your stress and supporting you and feeling more empowered to just hold the line and do the work and not try to cut a corner. And certainly don't freaking run from the battle. These people need to be held accountable. You cannot invest money at that level, send your dog away for 5 weeks, have multiple times purchased from them, and be screwed over like this. It's unacceptable. If I did that, I would sure as shit expect my customers to come after me with the pitchforks. There would be a nasty review or 70,000 of them. There would be, chatter in the community. There would be a lot of hell to pay. It's just not acceptable. It's not ethical. It's not acceptable. And you need to have that standard for yourself with integrity that you won't allow it. I don't care what you have to do to get yourself over the hump of that insecurity and avoidance. You need to fight this battle and rise to the occasion. It's metaphorically the same stuff with the dog. Studying vet nursing, purchased the Malinois hoping she'd be a good protection dog with Bruce's training at the same company. I just allow him to say, hey, I don't like this. Your dog? You allow your dog to say, hey, I don't like this? I mean, Z, it's like, the Malinois is a whole other thing we don't even have time for. I love you. That was stupid. We need to just get back on track. Reducing the stress is going to come from within you. That's my number one answer today. That's an internal game right now, my friend. It's an internal game because place is not that bad. And if you're looking at your dog and you're thinking, why are you such on the struggle bus about this? When you're healthy inside, you go, dude, get over it. Like, clearly you need to do more of this. You know, clearly you need to do more of this. That would be my response, right? Because I don't have all this stuff in the way anymore. Doing the work, man, I'm telling you, it takes work. Clean that shit up inside yourself. But I would look at the dog and I would go, oh, you're shaking like a leaf and you hate this? Well, you need to do more of it. It's that simple. I'd be like, oh, good. Good. I see validation. That's the work that you need. That's a problem for you. Let's do it every day, multiple times. I mean, the more, the better. And if it's really a situation of a dog that, like cases that I get here where they're just not well, you know, if it's really a situation like that, then we're going to have a conversation about treating the dog from the inside out. That's not the case. Bruce, this dog is, you're just inconsistent. You've been inconsistent. And you're not representing a believable leadership. And so there's a trust and respect factor that's not happening there when you do give him a boundary and say, hey, you manage yourself right there and stay comfy for a while. I don't need you. I don't want you close. And you can't act on your impulses. What's up, Matt? And you said exactly what he's doing. He shakes the pants, he whines, and he pushes himself off the place 1 foot at a time. Correct him and put him back. You got to have a backbone, woman. You got to have a backbone with your dog, and you need to have a backbone with this company that took you for all that money and all that training time and didn't fulfill on their end of the bargain. That's a load of crock. That's just ridiculous. It's absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable. So hopefully this helps. You know, it's so funny. Sometimes y'all just show up because you want a butt kicking, and it's so easy for me. I can't believe this is my job. I love you all dearly, and I'm really grateful for hanging out with me today. I do have to wrap up early. Please, please go send Angelina some love. The link is in the comments. I love you too, Z. Love you too. You got this. One more day at a time. Please go show Angelina some love, guys. Really, truly, it would make my birthday to know that we blew her socks off with support from people far and wide who don't even know her, and who can just empathize and put themselves in her shoes. I really can't tell you how many times I've seen this woman have the rug ripped out from under her and rise again. It's just mind-boggling to me that she is in this situation, having lost everything, all those animals that were her family and her coworkers and her dream team helping rehabilitate dogs and serve rescues and really have an impact on her community. And she had finally taken a little vacation with her kids for the first time in never, and really started to have some balance in her work life as a single mom. And this is just unthinkable, just an unthinkable loss to have that all go up in flames, literally. So thank you, Z, for the birthday wishes. I'll be having that birthday on Monday, and it will mean very much to me to see that you all say happy birthday to me by sending some love to Angelina. So link is in the comments. I appreciate you all very much. You can always send us your questions at any time. You can email april@hope2canine.com. You can comment when she posts the Fix It Friday prompts on social media between here and there. And I will see you really soon. Okay? Take care, guys. Thank you. It is terrible, Debbie. Yes. And thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Talk to you later.